Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, March 1st, 2019. It's snowing. Guys, one thing you can always count on at the Crazy New York Driver Show is lousy weather. Last week, we did have a peak of sun, and that was an aberration. It rarely happens. This week has been an entirely cloudy, nasty, windy, rainy, cold week, with the exception of today because it's snowing. It's going to snow tomorrow, stop on Sunday, and it's going to kick right back in on Monday with rain. Unbelievable. We can't catch a break here. Worst weather in the United States. Today we're going to talk about the eBay mini seller update. We're going to talk a little bit about a PayPal case if I have time, glitches, annoying glitches. We're also going to talk about some other eBay issues if I have time, and of course your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. So that being said, let's get right into it with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. Rubber Wilbur wrote in to speak about the for parts only category. He wrote, regarding eBay accepting returns on parts repair, I feel it's due to eBay trying in vain to be like Amazon. Amazon economically has eaten eBay's lunch and run loops around them as far as business and earnings customers trust. But Amazon is geared more toward newer retail products, not used garage sale type of items. Yes, eBay does new stuff too, but I don't feel like this is their lane. eBay sees how profitable Amazon is, so they try and copycat them at every turn by trying to fit a square peg in a round hole by offering no questions asked returns on everything. eBay should instead try to embrace what they're best at, which is selling custom, unique, hard to get used items that you can't find anywhere else. No way can people get the selection of genuine hubcaps like they can from Joe on eBay. They should really stop shooting themselves in the leg by hurting us because they're envious of Amazon's business model. In the meantime, we have to turn the other cheek and take the returns because eBay will in a heartbeat ban us from the platform if we do not play ball with their delusion that they will someday be Amazon. Also for parts, Bart Knuckles wrote, I like the idea of photographing the not working for parts paper. I've thought about doing it with Scrabble tiles, but I use a photo editor to add text directly or add arrows pointing at the damage. So far, so good. I haven't had anyone complain they didn't get their red arrow yet. Pomona 513 wrote, thanks for the cookie story. I really enjoy the stories from your youth and how they relate to eBay issues now. This is one of the things that make your channel unique among eBay videos. 52 Pony Bike wrote, it looks like you live in a nice neighborhood, Joe. I imagine that if any one of your neighbors heard you screaming the Fitchy thing, well, they'd think you're plain nuts. In certain atmospheric conditions, I can plainly hear my neighbors talking in normal voices on their farmyard a quarter mile away as the crow flies. LOL. Sorry, a poor excuse for your cackle. Hey, can we see and hear more from your cheeky hamster? LOL. Robert K. wrote about returns. Great story, Joe, and totally believable, as I went to Catholic school too. I have a return this week from a buyer in Israel. He's claimed I lied and said the HVAC control panel has a blue backlight, not a green one as stated. I've been selling these things for 13 years, and I know Volkswagen did not use blue backlights for this model of car. The reason I sell these is the bulb, which is not replaceable, burns out, and you must replace the entire panel. These panels are 26 years or older and not available new. I've sold dozens with no problems. This is the first time a super picky colorblind buyer bought an item just want to return it outright. I think that it's more like OCD. He said he only wants the item price refunded. He's paying the return shipping. Well, when this case closed, he will have paid $46 for a refund of $31.50. But for him, money is no object. OCD rules his life and must be obeyed. I can't tell you how many returns I've had over the last few years. where the amount of the shipping that the buyer paid both ways is greater than the amount of his refund. The same thing has happened to me, and I'll never ever understand the logic there. If the person would have kept the item and resold it on eBay, they would have come out ahead. Instead, nope, they want that return. John Estock wrote, Joe, I once had a buyer tell his credit card company that he never authorized a transaction on eBay, and PayPal seized the over $200 from my account. After 2 weeks, I got my money back, and PayPal said I was covered under the seller protection, but wouldn't say anything else. These crooks know the local attorney general won't prosecute small cases like this. Very, very true, and very, very unfortunate. Jill Smith wrote, Joe, I laughed out loud at your story when the kid said he would split your cookies with you, and you said you would split his lip. LOL. I love your childhood stories. I agree the fishy buyers should be prosecuted, absolutely. You could write a book with everything you will put through. It was honestly hard to watch. I was one of the ones who wrote letters to Google and reported the abusive videos on eBay directed at you. It's a shame the rest of us play by the rules and still get royally screwed, sometimes while the scammers are protected. The powers that be at eBay need to rethink their rules, protecting fishy buyers, and stand behind the sellers who are the money makers for eBay and not the money takers. Gulf Winds wrote, do you have a large stack of unlisted items waiting to be listed like most resellers? I have a room full. The answer is yes. I always have a ton of things waiting to be listed, and I have new inventory constantly coming in. I just bought another load this week, so yes, I've been doing a lot of new listings and retooling as well. The last comment I'm going to read has to do with the main topic of today's video. Vintage Media Man 182 wrote, Hi Joe, I want to thank you again for making these very informative videos every week. I'm hoping you will discuss the new seller updates that just came out in your next video. I know this particular change will have very little to no impact on you, but for smaller sellers with lower priced items like myself, the new GTC only listing policy is probably one of the worst policy changes ever on eBay. I'd rather pay a higher final value fee than have to babysit listings as to when their 30-day time limit is up so I can cancel them. At 35 cents an item, I'm not about to let 500 items renew for a fee without my consent and without any ability to list different items in their place if I choose. This is a major inconvenience for many sellers like myself. Please try to understand our issue with this and help get the word out to eBay to rethink this one crazy policy change. Thanks, Joe. All right, people, before we get on with today's main discussion of the eBay mini seller update, let's take a break on this cold, snowy day and take our first drink from the Fox News Cup O Life. Freezing out here, man, freezing. All right, let's get right to the eBay mini seller update. I'm sure most of you guys have already perused this. It was released on Tuesday. I had thought about making a special video during the week, but I decided against it because there's really not much to discuss. There's only a few salient points which I'm going to read to you right now. Number one, you can now send offers to watches directly from Seller Hub. Meaning, if you have an item, let's say it's a blue sweater, and you have 2 or 3 watches, or even one watcher on that sweater, and you have it listed for $50, you can send them a special offer if you want at a discounted price. This, I think, is a good tool. I'm not sure I'm going to avail myself of it, but I have no problems with that. The second thing is eBay is now automatically collecting sales tax on our behalf to states that require it. This is good news. It saves us, the seller, a lot of time, a lot of work, and it costs us nothing. For instance, if we're selling an item to a state that requires sales tax be collected, let's just say, for instance, it was Washington State, all right? eBay will automatically add the sales tax on the buyer's bill. It won't affect us. We don't have to pay anything. eBay does not charge us for this service. This is a necessary thing, and I'm glad eBay has stepped up and is doing this. It saves us sellers a lot of work. That's good news. Now, what Vintage Media Man 182 wrote about in the last comment has to do with the good till cancel policy. If you're a medium seller or a larger seller, this won't hurt you. If you're a small seller like he was discussing, then it may have an impact on you, and let me explain it. Previously, you could list your items in the fixed price category for durations of, let's say, 7 days, 14 days, or 30 days. Starting the middle of this month, March, you will no longer be able to do that. If you're going to list fixed priced, it's good till canceled, and that means good until you physically cancel it. You can no longer set the duration to 7, 14, or 30 days. Now, if you want the listing to run 30 days, at the end of the 30th day, you can manually end it. However, if you do not manually end it, you will be charged a recurring listing fee each month. Now, for a guy like me, this means nothing, because I have over 1,300 items listed on eBay right now, and every single one is good till canceled indefinitely. I let them run and run and run. Right now I'm in the process of retooling a lot of my old stale listings, as I've told you in the past. I had estimated that I had about 75 stale items. Christ, I was nowhere near correct. I have already gone through 400 stale items and retooled them. This is definitely helping me because I am seeing a big increase in sales. I told you this last week. I said last week was a great week. This week was another great week. My sales have been through the roof the last 2 weeks. St. Paul, Minnesota seller, I hope you're enjoying the same sales trend I am, because if we're on a reverse bizarro world, you might be a little bit slow this week. So yeah, but to get back on the GTC change, you smaller sellers out there who don't have a lot of items listed, I've heard in the Facebook groups that a lot of you guys are unhappy with this change because you're going to have to manually end your good till cancel listings before the 30-day period or they'll roll over. Now, I do understand where you're coming from, but let me address it from another side, if I may. And this is just constructive ideas here. Let's say you guys have 200 items listed this month, March, okay? At the end of the 30-day period, for some reason, you guys don't want to relist those same 200 items. You want to end those listings to avoid incurring the new recurring listing fees. And you want to list 200 more new items. Now, if you do that, okay, sure, you're saving the listing fees on those first 200 items. But let's just say, hypothetically, you didn't do that. Let's say you let those 200 items roll over again, and you took it and you incurred the listing fee. Then you additionally listed your 200 fresh items. The fact is, I honestly believe you would sell at least 2 or 3 of your original 200 items that have rolled over. That would, in effect, wipe out and eliminate the listing fees you're paying for rolling them over. Do you see my point? I know for some reason a lot of small sellers don't want to list too many items per month. Okay, I don't really know why, but that's your business. I'm not telling you what to do. You do what works for you. My point is, if you're listing 200 items per month now, and you don't want to incur the rollover fee for those same 200 items, you want to end them. You want to physically go in and end all those items. Then you want to list 200 more fresh items. Well, that's your business, and that's fine. But you're losing the chance of selling the original 200 items. And if you only sold 1 or 2 or even 3 of them, that will effectively wipe out the cost you would be absorbing of the relisting fee of those 200 items. Do you see my point? So Vintage Media Man 182, I want to specifically hear from you on that. I mean, I'm not criticizing you or nothing, because you know I don't roll that way. But I'd like to know why you're opposed to doing that. Because I really think that you would sell some of those original items and it would wipe out any fees you receive from eBay. Let's move on now to another topic. Let's talk about glitches. Last week or the week before, I told you about 2 glitches that I kept running into. I have run into 2 glitches this week. I am still incurring the promoted listing glitch, and it's annoying as hell. Whether I sell similar or relist, the listing will go through fine. But I am getting an error message that says this item cannot be added to promoted listings at this time. For whatever reason, I don't know. So what I have to do then is stop work, go back to the listing that I just listed and revise that. And once again, add promoted listings, then it goes right through. But it's annoying and it's time consuming, and I cannot believe this has been going on over 1 solid month. I think it's just plain stupid. I mean, I do. I am the biggest fan of selling on eBay. You guys know that, but you'll always get straight talk from me. And I don't think there's any reason for glitches to be going on over a month. Another glitch I've been running into on a much lesser scale has to do with the compatibility feature in eBay Motors. Sometimes the little wheel freezes up and I cannot add compatibility. This happened as recently as yesterday, Thursday. It's not happening to every single listing, maybe 1 out of 10, let's say. It's nowhere near as prolific as the promoted listing glitch. But that thing, man, is wacky. If any of you guys have noticed this or any other glitches, please comment below. For my weird story of the week, I had something crazy happening regarding feedback. First time this ever happened in my 20 years on eBay. A guy left me positive feedback earlier in the week. I'm going to put that up as a screenshot right now. This is the item in question. It has since been removed from my feedback. Notice how he said that I canceled the order and I refunded his money. Well, that is not true. That never happened. I sent him the item. So I wrote to this buyer and I said, can you tell me why you wrote this about me when I clearly sent you the item and the tracking shows it was delivered? And the customer wrote back and said, I'm sorry, Joe, it was my mistake. I bought hubs from 2 different sellers, you and another guy. And the other guy canceled on me. He was out of stock and I accidentally mixed up the 2 sellers. I said, well, can you revise the feedback? He says, oh, I'll be happy to, but I don't know how to do it. So I tried exploring it myself and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So last night I called eBay customer service and I explained the situation to them. And the lady looked at it and she said, to be honest with you, Joe, there is no way to revise positive feedback. If the seller had negged you, he could revise that and make it into a positive, but there's no way to make that a positive at this point. So I said, oh man, that's a bummer because it makes me look bad in a way. So then the lady said to me, I have to tell you something, Joe. I have to remove this feedback right now because this goes against eBay policy, and in addition, it does make you look bad. She says, I have no choice but to remove this feedback because it's a positive rating with a negative connotation, and we don't allow that. So I have no choice but to remove it, and she removed it. So I just thought that was an interesting little story for you guys. I mean, I'm glad they're looking out for me and all, but I never knew you could not revise a positive feedback like that. So now you guys know the story about that too. Guys, it's freaking 27 degrees out and I'm freezing out here in the snow, so I got to bring this to a close. I'm keeping it short this week. Let's do a quick rehash right now. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns on the eBay mini seller update and that good till cancel policy, or any policy, comment them below. Glitches, anything eBay is welcome. All right, I want to hear from you. Guys, remember, I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thank you for watching. I will be back next week with another eBay video. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up as it tells me I'm appreciated and on the right track. If you don't think I did a good job, please tell me in the comment section below what you want me to hit up, and I'll be glad to do it next week. Remember, I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems, and I'm still making money online, and I have never, ever, ever worn a mask. Guys, go out there and make a ton of money on eBay this week. I hope you all do well. Please. Thanks for watching. Remember, go out there, rock on, and peace! And I have something else to tell you too. But before I tell you that, I want another drink from the Fox News Cup of Life. This is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. The last 3 words I'm going to say to you today are, don't be fishy! Yeah!